A pioneering AI system has enabled a paralysed man to walk again after being confined to a wheelchair for 12 years following a motorcycle accident. Now, 40-year-old Gert Zhang Oscom broke his spinal cord in his neck and was told by doctors that he would never walk again. After taking part in a groundbreaking study, Oscom was able to walk around for about half an hour, climb stairs and even stand independently at a bar to drink with his friends. The technology works with decoding his brain activity and then sending a message wirelessly to the nerves that control his muscles so that he is able to walk. Wow. So I'm delighted to say consultant neurosurgeon and complex spine surgeon Dr. Rafid Al-Mafouda joins me now. Wow. Dr. Rafid, this sounds incredible. Are you behind this, or is this are you part of the study group, or what's your involvement? Are you involved in this in any way?
I'm not directly involved in it, no, but as a neurosurgeon and spine surgeon, we come across patients who do present with paralysis most commonly following an injury, where as you've just mentioned in your story, this gentleman was unfortunate enough to sustain a fracture in his neck, I think following a biking accident, and as a result sustained a cord injury. So these are the kind of patients that we see primarily, and treat them initially, for example, stabilizing their spine and removing compression from the cord. But as with this gentleman, often they're left with a motor deficit or difficulty functioning because of disruption of the cord. And science has been looking into ways of trying to restore that function over the years, with some limited success, I would say. So the exciting possible news here is that there may be a start of a process where these patients can be helped. And roughly we have around 1,000 to 2,500 patients a year presenting in this way. So obviously it would be of great help. And the device itself depends on picking up signals from electrical activity in the brain. And that's how motor function starts, by electric activities from the brain, which are then conducted down tracts in the spinal cord and to the legs, to the lower limbs. And the aim of the device is to, as you've mentioned briefly, decode the signals that they pick up from the brain. So it depends on electrodes in the skull, then decoded and then stimulated to the cord beneath the area of injury.
How is this connected to him then? Is it because he was wearing something on his head? Did they have to do some surgery to get it to connect to the neurons or the neurofibers or whatever they are in the brain?
So basically, the electrodes are implanted within the skull to pick up the electric signal. When we think about a movement, the neurons are activated through neurotransmitters, i.e. chemicals, and then electric signals, which are action potentials. So we can pick up those signals. And that's a technology which has been present per se. The difference here is the decoding of it and understanding the different amplitudes of these signals and which muscles they're aiming to activate. And the AI aspect of it is to help modify and fine tune. So that's the newer part, because then the other aspect of it is to re-input that signal as a stimulus along the spine through something called the spine cord stimulator, which again is technology which has already been present and we've had for a while. I think it's exciting. The summary from my perspective is exciting news and obviously some hope for patients out there who have been paralyzed, but also, as often is the case with these situations, a degree of caution and what it can be achieved. And it's at the start, and it's one case only. There's a trial which is going to be conducted with more patients, and I think that's when we can rely a bit more on the data. And just to note, this patient, for example, did have some power in his legs. It wasn't a complete paralysis.
If people were listening and they have somebody who they'd like to put forward for this sort of trial, is that happening in this country or is it somewhere else? And is there anywhere, do you know of, that people can find out more about it?
I mean, the study group itself is based in the Netherlands, and I think this is at the start, so I wouldn't probably advise patients to go contacting directly, but for sure at some stage, and usually these trials happen in more than one stage, and if proved successful with good outcomes, then it will be brought to more patients, hopefully.
Wow, so there are good things with AI that could come out of things like this.